Hi there. This is Garrett German. I'm here with Michael Guzman, and I want to talk about an element of our mission statement
Yeah.
today. So, like our mission, and we talk about this a lot,
Yep.
is to empower hardworking people to enjoy the moments that matter most.
Yeah.
And those words are purposefully chosen. So, like when we talk about enjoy the moments that matter most, what can you explain? Like, what
Sure.
does that mean?
Yeah. Well, let me even give it like a real sobering way to
Sure.
look at that. So there's an article that I came across recently by a lady named Bronnie Ware, and she's a hospice care nurse, and she's been with these people in their last stage, on their deathbed. And she actually, in the midst of developing all this relationship with them, recorded these 5 common things that people regretted
So,
on their deathbed.
So hold on. So like this isn't just one person. This
No.
is a lot of people that
Yeah.
she's come across and she's kept a journal.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like and then wrote this article and then it went viral. Like and then has written books about it after the fact. And so again, I think it really does help get the true clarity on like what does really matter in life. And so I'm gonna read them, but
Yeah,
here's
sure.
what she says. She says the first one that her people had wished that they'd had the courage to live a life true to themselves, not the lives that others expected of them.
So
Right?
good.
So often we're
good.
bound by like other people's expectations and we live governed by that sometimes
Yeah.
our whole entire life. So you've
Yeah.
got somebody on their deathbed regretting that. The second one was this, that they wished that they hadn't worked so hard. I think that's interesting for American culture because we tend to value hardworking, even we've got that in our mission statement, and that's a quality of a person. But you know what it's like. You can slide too far where you work so hard that you end up not paying attention to the other things that matter the most in life.
Yeah, you end up losing some of the other things that are really important. I think there's a fine line there. Like,
It is.
like we want to work hard, we want to make a significant impact, but you can easily cross that line.
Absolutely. Yep.
Interesting.
The third one is this. The people had wished that they'd had the courage to express their true feelings. I think this is similar to that first one where you might live governed by other people's expectations. But this one, like, I don't even feel like I could share what's really on my heart, maybe for fear of rejection or, I've got to live up to some standard. And so again, that's like squelched on the inside of a person and they're literally on their deathbed with those
see that.
regrets. They didn't
see
enjoy
that.
those moments that mattered most. So the fourth one is, you going to say something?
Yeah, just kind of thinking about number one and number three, it takes courage to do that because there's fear of rejection. There's fear of like, oh no, if I say this, these people aren't going to like me.
Yep.
And some of us, I know for myself, like I'm a big people pleaser.
Yeah.
I'm trying to understand that. Like it's hard
It is.
to let people down
Yep.
and actually express truly what's inside.
Yep, absolutely. And of course, we want to do that in a kind way that we're not harming people. And I think that's the tension. People can't find a way to do it that doesn't cause harm, so they choose not to cause harm, but it really creates a self-harm, I think, a lot of times. So,
Interesting.
Yep. The fourth one is this, that they wish that they had stayed in touch with friends, right? They're you go through life, you're focused on whatever age and stage you happen to be in, and you just lose the connection. I mean, we live in a very connected world, but it is easy to let those really valuable relationships kind of slip and go by the wayside.
Interesting.
Yep. And then the last one is this, they wish that they had let themselves be happier, which I think is interesting because this one is like, that they lived for reasons other than like what was most important to them. I think you could slide this one in the opposite direction. If I was only living for what made me happy, that could be a really dangerous thing. Like then I'm just self-indulgent. But in this case, they've suppressed their own desires for the sake of other people or other situations. And it, again, caused this regret and this harm.
This is so interesting. This is a very interesting thing that you bring up. It's complicated.
Oh boy, is it ever. And so then, so frame it. So I said, this is a sobering reality.
Yeah.
This is deathbed situation. But at least for me, this is usually helpful. If I can live with those ends in mind, that these are the types of things that people on their deathbed commonly die regretting, how can I then do the opposite and embrace those?
Yeah.
How can I live like in my own true self and reality for the things that matter most for me? How can I say and express the things that really matter for me? How can I work hard but not live as a slave to that job? How can I do the opposite of that so that when I am on my deathbed, when that time comes, I can be satisfied. And so again, back to the mission statement, that's what we want to empower people to do. We want to empower those hardworking people to be able to enjoy all of those moments that matter most, that create the regret-free life.
So what I hear you saying is, a lot of times, especially in our American culture, there's this concept of, if you have this, and this is usually money. It provides a lot of happiness. I don't hear you saying that.
Not at all.
I hear you saying money is important, and it is. We
Plays
need
a
it.
part.
But there's all these other things that maybe even have a greater importance
Absolutely.
than just money.
Yep.
And so, when we talk about our mission statement, empower hardworking people to enjoy the moments that matter most. That's what we're referring to.
So if you want to be one of those people that really is focused on living life without those end-of-life regrets, use the form below, reach out. We'd love to have a conversation with you, find out how we can support the goals that you've got. Thanks so much.